Hello, I am Pierce. I'm the developer for the Choicer Voicer, and I feel like I am probably overdue for a video where I actually just kind of sit down and talk about the game for a bit. So maybe like good 15-20 minutes, who knows. I will try and lead with the important stuff, like questions and comments. So, firstly, this might not even be the right place to ask this, but before I actually publish the game, I need to be absolutely sure that I'm not infringing on anything. I'm like 98, 99% sure that I'm not, but this is not something that you just make an assumption on, right? So I've never had to contact a lawyer, much less a copyright lawyer, much less a video game copyright lawyer. So I have no idea what I'm doing, who to contact, or how much, like, if I can even afford it. I did try just like the contact page of two video game specific legal firms, but I have not gotten a response yet. I don't know what the kind of wait time for that thing is. So if anyone has any hot tips or tricks about how to consult with somebody, hopefully for not too much money, about whether I need to change anything about the game before I can sell it, that would be great. And I don't know if that's going to blindside anybody, but yeah, I am selling the game. I have mentioned this a couple of times, but not like as like a big post or anything. It's going to be less than like $10. I'm not going to charge a lot for it. And most importantly, because some people, they want to make packs for the game, but they don't want to purchase it. And that's completely valid. So when I actually publish the game for purchase, I will also be releasing the customization menu as a standalone free tool. So you can just download that, and it will allow you to like start up making packs, have the defaults ready, and test to make sure that the game's actually loading it properly. Oh, speaking of the packs, here's another question. So the studio, it has 3 color options. It's very rudimentary at the moment because it has not been a priority to work on, but the goal eventually is that you'll be able to have your own models for the studio. So I've looked up, not too much, but I've looked into importing GLTF files in Godot from the user directory, and it kind of just flew over my head just from a glance. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But if anyone has like resources that kind of explain that better, because one thing I really dislike about Godot is that importing resources from the actual resource, like the ARIA's like local directory in Godot, versus importing something from user, are often two completely different things, which is horribly irritating. And for something like a GLTF file, that just complicates things even more. But eventually, I plan to have that actually figured out, which means that anyone can make a studio pack with a customized 3D scene that they make in Blender or what have you, export as a GLTF, and the game, the Choicer Voicer, will load that as the studio. So, I mean, right now even you can make players, you can make menus. I did upload under my Yeah Maybe Itch account a little, like the defaults, the current defaults, because something I say a lot is that everything is subject to change. There's plenty of options that I plan to add or alter. For example, the player character, or like a player pack, should probably have more than just greet, cheer, and upset. Give more options for that. For the judges, there's several things I plan to add for that as well. Probably, so there's like, the current blip function is however many points you get, it will play those blips in sequence. But some people would like that each individual judge, when they vote, they have their own voice clip. And that's a pretty easy thing to implement, so I plan to implement that as an option that you can toggle between score blips or specific voice clips for each judge, so on and so forth. So a lot of additional customization options are planned in the future because that is an aspect that's very important to me. I actually first started working on this game back in December of last year. I was working on something else in Godot, and was watching, I think, a Lethal Company stream by Vinny, and near the end of his stream, he offhandedly says it'd be great if somebody were to make another choicest voice. And so I just kind of like look at the garbage that I was working on at the time, said, let's try it, scrapped it, and started working on the choicer voicer. Well, I made a proof of concept just to show that I could make it, and that it was something that, you know, the Vinesauce team might be interested in. So I sent that proof of concept a couple months later, and of course, Vinny was interested, so I've been working on it ever since. And for the past month or two, it has been a full-time job, which is also why I am charging for it. So, some things that I should also talk about here. So here's something. Clip text hints. They exist. When people talk about, there should be captions for voice clips for ones that are really long, that's already an option. It just wasn't for anything that I added to a pack, and I guess that's my bad. But I did actually... Vinny didn't play the Jeff Goldblum pack again, but I merged some clip text hints into that. So we got Shay now. She has some wonderful art, and I love her. Chat kept thinking that she wasn't wearing pants for some reason, and I suppose, sure, it's like a similar tone to her skin, but why would you... What do you think these lines are? Like, this is pants. What? Anyways. Oh, okay. So I'm going to probably do this a lot where I go, and also. There is an issue. You can't see it with these judges because I had to manually fix for it. But this is a problem with Godot that I have been unable to solve. With the judge and contestant images, they are a Sprite 3D node that imports a transparent image. But when there is anything on the bottom, left, right, or top border of the image, it will bleed over to the opposite side. So, say meat, for example. Meat's bottom here, it's just, that is the border. It's like, this is all, I'm not explaining this well. This is all transparency, but then there is this line of meat. And then a line of pixels will appear at the top of the image. Those same colored pixels will show up for some reason. And I figured that having the importing be set to nearest would fix that, because it actually fixed it with the clips that are on the main menu that are spinning around in a disk, but I cannot get it to work for the contestant and judge images in the actual studio. The fix right now is to include a 1 pixel border of transparency across the entire image. Otherwise, left will bleed onto the right, top will bleed onto the bottom, vice versa. Very irritating. Have not found a fix for it.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
And there's the text hint. I'm simply saying that life finds a way. I'm simply saying that life finds a way. Couple notes here. People notice that there is pitch data now. That was actually always a thing in Vinny's first playthrough about a month ago. Pitch data, like gathering and scoring, already existed. It just wasn't visual information. I hid it because I felt that this looks kind of bad. I don't really know of a good way to include both the waveform data and the pitch data together on one box, one screen here. So right now it's just this. Also, I'm not sure that I'm actually gathering pitch properly. If someone has some hot tips on that too, that would be great. But right now it seems to get the job done, but especially if you're loud, the pitch will be higher. That could just be because of a wide range of noise across the entire waveform is screwing with the pitch, as opposed to something wrong that I'm doing, but I'm unsure. Now you'll notice I only got 2 points, and that wasn't a very bad performance. This is an issue that has been ongoing, where if the original clip is quiet, the judges just will not be nice to you. They will score it harsher. And so all of this data, it is actually a byte array. So every value is between 0 and 255. And what I use to score it is a wacky little algorithm, but it mostly uses what is called, I believe, locality sensitive hashing. And I'm pretty sure that the quieter that both clips are, the harder it is to get a match, which means that I need to find a good way to normalize both of these in a way that A, makes it more accurate based on what we see, and B, does not make it easier when it's a bad performance. That is the hardest part that I've been doing here, is trying to massage the score so that it's fairer without giving... I'd rather have a few false negatives than a bunch of false positives. I think being underscored is probably preferable to, getting a 5 out of 5 for a garbage performance.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
Like that was worth a 3, maybe a 4. And this is another thing. I noticed that chat would get upset if Vinny did a good performance and he only got a 3 or a 4. 60%, this line here, that's passing. That's a win. So if you get a 3 every round, that's a passing score. You win. The goal is not to get exactly 100%. 5 out of 5 is supposed to be difficult.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Your scientists were so preoccupied... Yeah, whatever. The judges themselves, people are noting that Worf seemed to be much nicer than last time. I actually didn't change much of anything, so some people are saying, oh, how do the judges score? How do they choose whether or not they vote for you? Is it this? Is it that? It's actually incredibly simplistic at the moment. The way it works is that 3 judges are randomly selected to be easy judges, and 2 of them then are hard judges. The judges themselves don't actually do any individual scoring. It's all just one algorithmic score giving a number for that entire waveform. And then it applies that number, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the judges. And the first point will always be assigned to an easy judge. That's it. So if you get 1 point every single time, the 2 hard judges will never vote for you, but otherwise you will always lead with an easy judge voting, and then the other 4, you'll have 2 easy judges and 2 hard judges left. It doesn't check for anything, it just chooses 2 of them. The reason that Worf seems to be easier now is because there's Gray Leno here. And what I mean by that is originally we had Shay here as a judge with the name Choicer Voicer's actual host. The hard and easy judges are preserved between each round because it uses an admittedly stupid thing here, but it creates a hash from the judge names. So as long as the judge names don't change, the 3 easy judges and 2 hard judges will stay the same. But Shay was replaced with Gray Leno, so it changed the hash, and that happened to change how the easy and hard judges were randomly selected. I think Meat and Scoot are the hard ones now, but I'm not certain.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
See, that was actually pretty bad. And here, some people are saying, oh, it'd be great if you can save your performances. You can. You already can. Oh, God. Chat was also remarking, saying, you know, it's just waveform matching. It's you just gotta match the waveform. Yeah. What else are you expecting? Should I be doing something different? Like, there isn't an AI that's checking that you're saying the right words, or, you know, doing some kind of like wild linear equations. It's just making sure that your waveform is similar to the clip waveform. So if you go, you know, into the mic, you'll probably get a couple of points. If there's a better way to do it, let me know, and that can be implemented in a later iteration. But yeah, it is just waveform matching. I guess I'm sorry. 2s across the board. Oh, okay. Jeez, I gotta stop saying, oh! This is something that Vinny didn't actually show off here, but local multiplayer exists. I don't have online multiplayer because that is terrifying. And even though I did actually figure out there are tutorials on how to, for example, have 2 separate players move their own characters in the same scene. And that's great, but that is completely detached from what I need to accomplish with the Choicer Voicer. What I need is to transmit audio, and that is, from what I've seen just from glancing, a whole extra can of worms. So that is unfortunately going to be down the line, because I don't know what I'm doing. But there is up to 4 players. You can actually have a theoretically infinite amount until you crash the game. I unintentionally coded it so that there is no upper bound for how many players you can have in the game. The only reason that the limit is 4 is because of size constraints in the actual studio. So you can see here I have 3, and 4 would be the entire width of this, like this circle base, and 4 would also fill up this score screen here. So once I figure out, I mean, making smaller podiums is easy enough. The hard part is figuring out how to put a large amount of players' scores and data onto the screen. It's not that hard, but, you know, it's extra work. But I do plan on having some kind of, like, mass party mode that is different than the simple 2 to 4 multiplayer.
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour?
The steamed hams clips were also, these are all just a little too quiet, which I'm pretty sure is why Vinny did a poor performance on it. The CDI voices that I also added as a pack, I made sure all of them were properly loud, so they were much easier to get a good score on. And when your score is based more on how loud the clip is than how good you're matching it, that's a problem. That is a big problem that I'm still working on. Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Ugh. Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Oh yeah, and there is still the Hey Pops secret code, so if I go ahead and type Hey Pops, hear a little sound effect, and now an oil drum filter will be applied to your recording. Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? And toggle that back off. Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? So you can see this is kind of the round flow for a multiplayer match. Everyone performs, and then everyone quickly gets judged. Oh, yeah, and there is a button to play everyone at the same time. Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? I don't think I need to do much more of this. What else is there to talk about? I guess I'll mention, so the voice pack section is rudimentary. I added it at the last minute right before Vinny's stream, not that he needed it, but you can toggle these on and off, so I can hide all of these voice packs. It's just the top level at the moment. Clicking on it doesn't actually let you edit anything. I need to fix that, but as you can see, in order to have the game ignore a pack or a clip, it renames it with _ignore_. It's kind of a wacky method to do, but I think it's better than having to add that to the player's save data or having to find some other way to store metadata. This is just a simple rename it. And if it leads with this specific prefix, ignore it. And see, now we just have the CDI pack. We do all voice packs, it's just the CDI pack. You can also do that with individual clips. Not that it's the best method. I'm probably going to append it into this section. But much earlier I had this data management, hide clips, get list, and you can find a reverse chronological order of the clips that you've played. And if you just click hide clip, it'll rename it with ignore, and then you won't see it anymore. I do need to toggle it so that you can turn it on and off, which will work better again in this section in the customization menu. I think that's about everything. We do have a customization glossary here. So voice, clip name, the hierarchy. If there is a, let's say that you have something just called, steamed _hams as a clip, but you have both a WAV, an MP3, and an OGG in the same pack, it's going to ignore the MP3 and OGG. It first searches for a WAV with that file name, then it searches for an MP3 with that file name, then it searches for an OGG with that file name, and if for some reason I don't think that it wouldn't find anything otherwise, but then it would load nothing. In images, it's PNG, JPEG, and WebP. So an individual clip will just have a name. In order to give it its own image, you have a PNG, JPEG, WebP that has the same file name, and then for a text hint, you just have a TXT file. _subtitle in a pack will give you a subtitle for the pack when you select it. _pack_filler_image will give you a default image for the entire pack. So Jeff Goldblum, this is using a pack filler image because it would be a waste to have this image 5 times and just keep renaming it to the same thing, renaming it to the same thing. However, I will note, I think you're better off if you're making a kind of large pack to give each one its own image. I just think that works better. It's nicer than to have, a pack of 50 voices and they all share the same image. This is more kind of a stopgap for if you just kind of want to do it quick, and I get that. The menu currently has 4 button sound effects, but more are planned because one of these is just hovering, and so having a select, a back, and a decrease, which half the time doesn't have anything to do with decreasing anything, it's too few sound effects. That won't affect people making the packs too much once more button sounds are added. If you don't really feel a need to diversify the button sounds, you can just copy, paste, and rename for the new ones. I think I've covered just about everything. I think these known issues are up to date, so you can take a quick look at all of this, pause if you need to, and many more. Thank you for watching. This has been Pierce. Later.